Today I'm going to share with you how I nuked my Amazon account. I went from 3 to 5 orders a day to, well, I think I had like 3 last week.
You invested in a business, and this business is dead.
It's been rough. I was making, a couple of $1,000s a month from Amazon, and that was letting me not only reinvest back into the business, but buy additional printers for the business. And I do have a video coming up soon because right over here sets a Cobra 3 Max that I've been having a huge amount of fun getting tuned in. And I know that's kind of the opposite of what I've been in the past. I've been, A1, plug it in and print, where this one has been very, very hands-on. And actually, I've kind of enjoyed it. But anyway, I digress. Let's get into the Amazon thing. So like I said, I was doing, about $2,000 a month in sales. That's what they were paying me out. And last week I sold like 3. Okay, so let's talk about return rate. I know return rate is pretty critical with Amazon, and even though I was doing pretty good, I did have a little bit of a return rate. It wasn't huge. It wasn't enough to hurt the account or slow my sales down, but I thought, hey, let's try to eliminate the return rate altogether. So I kind of looked at my product and tried to understand what exactly was going on. Why was I getting returns in the first place? So in drop testing, yes, I knew that the product would break if, for some reason, they dropped it from about waist height onto concrete. It was plastic. It had about 4 pounds of weight in it, and yes, it would break. But I figured that would be a pretty rare scenario, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And I was right. My return rate was actually kind of low. But I thought, let's try to eliminate it altogether.
And then there are those who say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Now, when I originally designed this product, I actually designed it in the handle area with 2 walls and about 12% infill. I actually wanted it to be a little bit flexible. If they dropped it, the handle would just kind of, bang, and it would be fine. Even though the layers printed like this, so the layer lines are this way, and a handle that's like this is wrong. No, because it breaks at the layer line. But I figured, number one, it's PETG, so it's flexible, and maybe it'll hold up. But when I did get a few returns, I decided, hey, well, I've got to strengthen this thing up. I'm going to eliminate that return rate altogether. So what did I do? I went into the slicer and I took it from 2 walls to 4 walls and then bumped the infill up in that area to about 20%. I was so confident in those changes that I didn't even drop test it. I just started shipping them. Now that was a huge, huge mistake. So that next week, those 3 to 5 per day, I was printing out that new version with the stronger handle. And unfortunately, the return rate went through the roof. It was terrible. It seemed like almost everyone I shipped out was getting returned. When I figured it out, about midweek, I realized what had happened. I grabbed one of them off the shelf and I put it to the test, and sure enough, it broke. And I mean, it broke severely. I didn't know what to do. I was so shocked. So I immediately went back to the original design as I decided, hey, I'm going to go through and redesign this product altogether. But in the meantime, to fill these orders, I'm going to switch back to my original design. So I did that. But unfortunately, so we're talking about a half a week's worth of shipments, I guess, went out with that new design that was extremely weak and broke almost immediately if you drop it. I went back in and I redesigned the product to make the handle a separate piece that was joined together via pins. Now, the handle now prints flat, making the layer lines vertical when it's in place, and now the handle is great. It's strong. I've drop tested it several times. As a matter of fact, I have one model particularly that I drop tested every day, several times, trying to get it to break, and it never broke. So I was super happy with it. This is the new design. Awesome. I'm just going to start shipping it. It actually cost me a little bit more time. There is some assembly, but at least I was more confident in it. and I was able to lower the price because for some reason with the handle printing as a separate piece, the print time was reduced. So awesome, great. So I was able to reduce the price down and offer the customer a product that's now stronger. Unfortunately, the damage was done. It was too late. Amazon had pretty much killed my listing. Now, I have the buy box. I still have the buy box. I'm still featured. Everything looks perfectly normal on Amazon's end. It looks normal. But no one's buying the product anymore. It is dead in the water. Matter of fact, of 3 variants, the most popular variant was the largest. It is completely dead. I have not shipped one of those in over a week. Now, the middle variant and the smallest variant, I've sold probably about 3 of those this week. So, in my opinion, she's dead and gone. We're over with. To this point, with this week, when I needed to order filament, I just didn't. I didn't see the point. There's no sense in investing $400 worth of filament for another week's worth of printing when we're just not printing anything. So I just haven't ordered any filament at all. Now, luckily, I've been very busy, and you guys know I haven't posted any videos because I've been extremely busy with the Cobra 3 Max and getting that thing dialed in. And I will have a video coming on that. So how am I going to fix this problem? Well, unfortunately with Amazon, I don't think there's a way that you fix it. See, that 2 or 3 a week that I'm selling right now, I think basically what's going to happen is Amazon's going to be keeping an eye on those sales. And if those sales don't get returned, then they'll probably allow me to sell a couple more. And if then those don't break and those don't get returned, then maybe they'll allow me to sell a few more. I have a feeling that just over time, I'm going to be starting over basically the same way I did back in January when I started. You're going to sell 1 or 2 here or there, and you're going to have to build your momentum up all together. I actually even considered just deleting the ASIN altogether and creating a new listing to see if maybe that would help, because maybe this listing is just haunted. I'm not 100% sure. I might actually do that. At this point, the listing is dead. I do have lots of sales history on that product. And like I said, it has the buy box. It has featured listing. It has all the things that you would want your listing to have on Amazon so you could make a ton of sales. It's just not selling. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do. But I think at this point, I'm just creating that new product, the one with the 2-piece handle that I'm sure is now stronger, and I'm going to ship that. And then should I reach out to Amazon support and say, hey, we had a manufacturing problem for about a week, but that's been corrected? Would that help? I don't know. If you guys are familiar with Amazon and how Amazon works, drop some advice in the comments and let me know. Like, is there anything I can do to recover this? I think it's just going to take time. I'm not sure. So what's the lesson learned here? Well, the lesson learned is drop test your shit. Like, come on, dude. You have to test everything before you ship it. I should have immediately tested that product the moment I made it to make sure it was still strong. But I didn't. And it's cost me dearly. So now not only do I prototype and drop test, but I'm also QC for fitment, but also QC drop test in this case, because this is a carrier and people drop shit and it just happens. But unfortunately, I didn't do that, and it's cost me all my sales. So I guys appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, if you have any advice for me, please drop it in the comments and let me know. Like, what can I do to save my butt here? Because it's pretty much gone. It's pretty much over at this point. I'm going to continue to sell the product. I'm going to continue to update listing photos and, update the description. I've done a lot of the things already that people have advised. Hey, if you lose your momentum, here's some things you can do. And I've done a lot of those, and well, they haven't helped. So I'm not really sure what to do at this point. But lesson learned here. QC, obviously. Make sure if it's a part that fits into another part that it actually fits. But 2, if it needs durability testing, you need to durability test. You need to make sure that if your customer drops this product, it can live through that drop. Or what is the threshold at which it will break? What's the threshold that's going to break it? And at least let your customers know, hey, if you drop this out of a helicopter, it's going to break. That kind of thing. I think it's important. It's a terrible result. There's nothing I can do about it. At this point, lesson learned, move on, and keep going. Hopefully, my sales come back. Hopefully. All right, guys. This week, I just got a hold. A sponsor reached out this past week, and we've got a new product that we haven't even dropped into this category yet. I think we've got a new product coming. If you can hear it in the background running, that is the Cobra 3 Max, and I've been doing a ton of work on it. It's been quite the adventure. And if you noticed in my previous video, someone asked, hey, where's the Infinity Flow S1? Because they thought it would be on one of the Adventurer 5Ms. It's actually over here with the Cobra 3 Max, which makes a lot of sense, right? Big giant printer with lots of capacity. I haven't got it working just yet with the Infinity Flow because I'm still dialing in the Cobra 3 Max. I'll get to that. There'll be a video, I promise you, and it's going to be a pretty good one. All right, guys, that's it for now. I appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, if you have any advice, hit me up in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and tune in for, hopefully, the recovery of my Amazon account. Hopefully. Later.